Talk to me. WSRadio.com.
Welcome back to PricewaterhouseCoopers Startup Radio with your host, Steve Bengston.
LinkedIn has become a massively popular site, yet many people, including me, are unclear how to best use it. Our next guest, Joe Pelayo, CEO of Joseph Michaels, is here to discuss how to maximize your benefit from LinkedIn. Joe, you're one of the most LinkedIn people in the world, is that right?
Yes, well, I was told by an inside source at LinkedIn I'm in the top 1/100th%. There's 25 million users, so that means there's 2,500 people ahead of me, but still feels pretty good to be the top 1/100th%.
And roughly how many connections do you have, and how'd you get it so large?
Well, I have 8,515 connections, and I've been a LinkedIn member for a long time. If people are on LinkedIn, they can go to LinkedIn, click View My Profile, and up in the www, the URL bar there will show their name, and LinkedIn.com their name and a number, and an interesting bit of trivia that nobody really knows and nobody really cares about. But if you want to know what number you are, I was the 16,000th member of LinkedIn, and 16548 was my number on LinkedIn. And I began to reach out to people and do it the old-fashioned way, and then use some advanced techniques that I'm teaching people now in some LinkedIn courses and webinars and whatnot.
What are some networking tips you can share with our audience that have helped you get more value out of your LinkedIn exposure?
Well, on LinkedIn, step one is you want to connect to some hubs, because if you're not connected to hubs being a Lion or a LinkedIn Open Network or somebody with a lot of connections, you can be on LinkedIn and you can be like Jason Albin's book, which says, I'm LinkedIn, Now What, which is a good beginning book on LinkedIn. But if you're not connected to a number of people, you won't be able to see a number of people. You won't see the value. So step one, I think, is to connect to some hubs. People are very well connected on LinkedIn. And I'm a LinkedIn Open Networker, which means anyone can send me a LinkedIn connection, and I'll look it over, and most likely would accept their LinkedIn invitation connect. I'm like Will Rogers, who said, a stranger's just a friend I haven't met yet.
And how do you find hubs like you?
Well, there's a good site called Top LinkedIn, toplinked.com, and that lists the top 50 LinkedIn members in the world and has some advanced techniques. That's one thing you can do. You can also run a search in your industry. It depends who you want to connect to. Like I have 8,515 connections, but what I'm mostly concerned with is that I'm connected to the CEOs and the CFOs and the VP of HR and the Director of HR and the people that are the audience that might buy my recruiting services and the work that I do there. It's great that I have 8,000 connections, but what I want to be connected to the people that I want to be able to reach. And so you want to be strategic in who you're connecting with, to make sure you have access to the people that you want to have access to, and that's different for people depending on what type of work they're doing.
How'd you get into this business?
Well, I got into the recruiting business, Steve, just age 17. I just turned 40, so now I'm in my 23rd year in the recruiting business. To be honest with you, I responded to an ad in the paper and began getting trained in the recruiting business by General Employment, a publicly held recruiting firm, and built my career from there, and now I'm so pleased I've been recognized in Recruiter Life magazine as one of the top 75 recruiters in the United States recently.
What do you think are some of the LinkedIn applications most people don't know about?
Good question. Well, one thing you can do is the answers page. You can ask questions and answers on the answers page. One question I asked was, I saw where a lot of people were struggling with, and me myself too, was struggling with the new releases of Microsoft, and it looked like Google was bringing out some applications that were Word and email and Outlook, and I've had the history of kind of being out on the edge of technology, and I didn't want to be out on the edge of the wave on this thing, so I asked a question of a lot of friends separate from LinkedIn: have you tried Google Apps? And a lot of people didn't know what I was talking about, and some people did, but not much feedback that I got. I asked one question on LinkedIn of a selected group of contacts: what's been your experience with using Google Apps? And I got 25 answers.
Well, we are just about out of time. If someone wants to learn more about LinkedIn or about your business, what's the best way to reach you?
They can reach me through my website. It's josephmichaels.com. And my speaking website is jpspeaking.com.
Well, thanks, Joe, for sharing your thoughts on LinkedIn. And it's certainly a popular service and great to know more about it. And good luck with your business.
Great. Thank you, Steve. Thanks for having me on, and we'll see you soon.
Next up, we'll learn about being your own boss in an online marketplace. From Silicon Valley, I'm Steve Bengston.